All right, so it's about time we got to a Reiner Knizia game, and the one that's going to break the seal is Ingenious.
Is that really how you pronounce this guy's name?
Reiner
Ingenious?
Knizia.
Oh, Reiner Knizia, yeah.
Some people say Knizia. Some people say... What you'll have to do is listen after I have my wife pronounce it in the intro, and that'll be the actual way to say it. But we're going with Reiner Knizia. It's a German name. He's a German guy. He wears a bow tie. He's really cool.
All right.
And he's a doctor.
I'll keep an eye out for him on
And
the
he's
street.
also made like 500 games.
Maybe we'll see him at Gen Con or something.
No, he doesn't come over here for that.
Oh.
He's always at Essen, though. Anyway, Ingenious. This is...
the ultimate family strategy game.
I'm going to say this is one of his abstract strategy games, but let's be real. They're all 95% abstract strategy games.
It says it on the box. That's where I got that from.
No, you're right. The ultimate family strategy game. And, as far as family weight games go, this is actually a really good, I would say this is a really good family game because the rules are simple. You've got these pieces that have these bright shapes and colors, and it's a lot of fun, actually. The rules are very simple. You're going to take a tile, you're going to place it down, and you're basically going to match one of your tiles, match one of the colors with in one of the spaces next to something that's already on the board. Qwirkle kind of comes to mind as a very similar game in that you're matching colors and shapes, but it's different because with Qwirkle it's more like Uno, where you're matching the shape or the color. And it's like Scrabble, where you're trying to make the lines of 6 because there's 6 different shapes and 6 different colors, and then you're also playing in ways to block other players. So it's that one's actually really cool. I hope we get to soon. But this is Ingenious, and it's a lot of fun. Chris, you want to kind of give us a rundown of how this goes? Because I don't think Samuel knows what's going on.
I just read the rule book while you were giving that introduction.
The rule
I know how to
book
play
is
now.
nice. It's one sheet.
It's
both
a rule
sides.
sheet.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I mean, this is in the vein of the Hasbro games where they probably could have printed this on the box lid.
Yeah. The one thing I was looking up, I didn't see it available for regular sale, but it is on eBay for about $40. But I bet you Ed might, or at Games and Stuff, might have a copy of it or two at your game store. It's a great game. Great family game.
The ultimate family strategy game.
So what do you call these pieces?
They're tiles.
They're like hexagonal
Joined together.
dominoes.
Yeah.
So they're like dominoes, but they're 2 hexes together instead of two squares.
Yeah. So basically you're going to have 6 different colors: red, green, blue, orange, yellow, and purple. And your goal is to get as many of those when you're placing a piece down in a row, and you get points for each one that's connected to your piece.
Yeah, it takes a little bit to kind of figure out.
Is
but
it in a row or is it just connected?
It's in a row.
It's in a row connected. So, I can show that to you later. But you'll see, once you start playing pieces, you'll see, oh, this gives me 3 yellow in a row, and you'll score 3 points. Your score is equal to what your lowest number is.
I see.
Yeah, that's Knizia scoring. So essentially what happens is you'll place a piece on the board, and if either one of those colors or both of those colors makes a chain that is a straight line, you'll get points based on the length of that chain.
I see.
The way the game starts is Sam, being the youngest player, will get to go first, and he'll play a tile down next to one of the... There are pieces on the board that start with each of the different colors. You pick one, and then we all have to pick a different color to start with, and then you'll get to go from there anywhere on the board that you want to.
All right, so the other caveat to kind of think about or to be aware of is you do have this score track. It's a little pegboard with the 6 different colors, and it goes up to 18, which is the maximum you can score on a color.
What happens when you get to 18, Stephen?
So when you get to 18, you yell "Ingenious."
You throw your finger up in the air, too. Ingenious!
Yes, just like that. And you get to take an extra turn.
Wow.
Now, you don't get to pull tiles. You have to use the ones that you already have.
So it's like a bonus placement.
It is a bonus placement. It comes into play. It's pretty handy.
It is pretty handy. I recall the first time I played this game, like 10 years ago, somehow I managed to chain 3 of them in one turn, and it seriously turned the tide of the game for me because.
So when does the game end?
When one person has all Ingeniouses, the game ends immediately, or when you cannot put another tile out on the board.
I see. That's easy to keep track of.
Your highest scores don't count. It's actually the lowest score that you have. So it makes sure that you play evenly and not focus too much on 1 or 2 particular colors.
Take advantage of the large scoring opportunities when they're there.
Because that's how you get your Ingeniouses and your extra
Because
turns.
you'll sit there and go, you know what? There's a red there. I'm going to get that later. And then it'll go to my turn and then Steven's turn, and there will be no more availability for red. And you kind of get, because we'll all be taking like runs on different colors, and you want to either be part of that or shut it down.
So it seems like you guys have a history with this game.
We've played this quite a bit.
Yeah. This is another one, again, from the early days of us board gaming together where, again, we didn't have as large a collection, so games got more repeated plays. And I think I've only played this a handful of times, maybe like 2 or 3. But the one game where I got 3 Ingeniouses in one turn really stands out. This isn't a game that's going to create a narrative that you're going to be talking about weeks from.
You want to
years
bet?
from aside from getting a bunch
Except
of,
for your story about getting 3 Ingeniouses in one turn. And
I mean, other than that, but this. Oh, remember that time that I blocked your red chain? You had like 4, and you're about to get 7 points, and those aren't the types of things that are going to happen with this game. But it is really fun. It flows really nicely, and the action on it's really good. So
This was a game that John brought to us, and I think John would have a couple of those stories about. I remember one time I was about to score a red, and Chris was right in front of me, and he shut it down, and I couldn't get any red. I mean, there are those that brings back memories. Of
yeah, but this
different games
isn't
played.
like Grimnack getting murked by
You're correct.
by the third mass infantry and Memring getting mad and trying to avenge, and you don't have those types of stories.
I think we
but-
all will remain friends when this is over.
Oh yeah, there's no table flipping involved in this game yet.
Yep.
All right, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a go, and we'll get back as soon as we've yelled Ingenious for the last time. That was Ingenious. That was our first Reiner Knizia game.
It was very cutthroat and genius.
It had some moments where I really wanted to just slap the tile out of your hand because you were going right where I
I
wanted.
tried really hard to stab Chris in the back.
Yeah. There was like 3 or 4 times you had your hand ready to smack me.
And what made it even worse is you put down the exact tile I was going to put down.
What was
Yeah,
the exact tile?
The
exact
same
same
tile
put
that I had
down.
put down. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, we had 3 tiles in a row, 3 of the exact tiles in a row.
And that happened
yellow,
twice.
blue, yellow, blue, yellow.
I think.
Yeah,
it happened a couple
and then
times.
The green orange
Yeah.
too, 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
And luckily, I was the tail end of it, so
Yeah,
I got the most
let
points.
me tell you, going first in this game, I don't think it's an advantage.
Well, I mean, what does your score end up as?
9.
9. Okay, so
Wasn't yours also a 9?
I was also 9,
And Chris got
was
a 10. Yeah.
So pretty close around the. Pretty
So I
close
think
scores
the
were.
consensus we reach here is Chris was cheating.
I mean, he kept putting the exact
I put the exact same piece that you put down, Sam.
tile I was going to put down first.
Yeah.
Like he knew what the optimal move was for me.
And you came around behind me and was able to put it down.
Yeah, but
I didn't screw up the blue and
this-
yellow. I
this
didn't
time-
screw up the green and orange.
This down here with the green down here, I was going to do the exact same thing.
Well, that was me, not Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had 2 Ingeniouses. How many did you have?
I think I also had 2.
2. And did you have 2 or just 1?
I just had the one.
You were pretty close though on another.
Not
You
really.
were 1 point away from a third.
Yes, I had a perfect move where I would have done 2 in 1 turn and gotten to play that 3rd tile, which would have given me very close and helped me quite a bit on the orange.
You didn't need any help.
That's true.
Yeah, no, I could have kept going for the blue, but I went a long while without seeing any blue tile. And when I did see a blue tile again, there weren't any good opportunities, and frankly, it didn't seem worth it to chase
Yeah,
those points.
sometimes chasing the Ingeniouses isn't optimal strategy.
Yeah, I mean it's powerful for sure, but
Because sometimes what you're doing is you're filling up space on the board, and space on the board is a very, very precious commodity. And if you're using that space to not basically continue to move up your lower pegs or your lower colors, then you're kind of wasting that space. Now, it could be that you're strategically wasting that space to end the game quicker and to deny other players that space. But that's part of the decision that you're making. It's not just throwing the tiles down. I mean,
yeah.
it could have been. It probably was Chris's strategy because
Well, once you get ahead in a color and you can look at other people, like I knew there wasn't any red when I shut it down over here, so I knew you were going to have a hard time getting red.
Yeah.
I mean, I know John's not here, but I don't think he would mind saying that you really have to pay attention to the game state on this game, because I could look at your board and see where you are with orange and with red. I could see where you are with purple, and there wasn't any place out there to get purple.
Yeah, and that was a perfect use of that terminology.
And speaking of game state, I appreciate how the way you play this game changed drastically as it went along. Right, you start and the board's full of possibilities, but the more people play to a specific area, the more valuable it is for you to play off of that area.
You kind of stick with the crowd.
And I really felt like the game developed through different phases where we went from exploring the potential of the board to capitalizing on that.
Just extracting the most points possible.
And then realizing that we were rapidly running out of space. And it really went from half full to entirely full very quickly, I felt.
Yeah, and in a 3-player game, you're missing the outer ring. So there's probably another 10 or...
There's about 8 on each side. There's 1, 2, 3, 4,
There's
5,
8 on each
6.
side.
So 48. So you can place another 24 tiles.
Yeah, so you're missing the entire outer ring. But even still, that's the 4th player. So
you probably get to take less turns, but there's more tiles, so maybe you score more.
yeah. You're scoring more. Well, I guess it depends on how it's being played, because
You probably
may not
score more, but
you may not be setting each other up.
you're not
for
guaranteed
good scores.
to.
Right. This is interesting. The interesting I love about this game, it's like, do I play and keep it going so it keeps building, or do I shut it down?
Yeah, do I cash out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are a multitude of small but very meaningful decisions that you make in what looks to be a very simple game. And it's not just matching colors and getting your points. To what Chris is saying, there's a bit of an area control aspect to it where you can place tiles in such a way to actually block off other players' ability to score points.
Yeah, you can look at it and say, I think I have an advantage in this color right now, and I don't want anyone else to score more points from this part of the board.
Mm-hmm. And then even just like the strategic way you place the tiles, you can. So right now on our board, we have 3 blank spots because of the way tiles were placed. Now, that could have been by accident, but at the same time, if you really want to get aggressive with your opponents, you can place the tiles in such a way that there are more blank spots, essentially quickening the game.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in a position to want to end the game quicker.
Mm-hmm.
That might be an avenue that you explore. I mean, it was the last turn, but there were 5 spaces left on the board, and Chris could have placed his one piece in such a way that all the other pieces or all the other spaces would have been completely blocked, and I would not have been able to take my last turn. Now, granted, my last turn didn't matter because I couldn't move the color I needed to. But if I did have the ability to make up the that color, he could have easily won the game because of that placement instead of allowing
the
me
reason
to score.
I did need to get 2 orange or 3 orange I got, which moved my orange up to 11, which if I hadn't done that, then I would not have.
You would have had 8 points.
Yeah.
So anyway,
The last move won me the game.
it's a I like to say it has emergent strategy because on the surface
Emergent gameplay.
emergent gameplay. On the surface, it seems like a very simple rule set. Seems like it's a nice, friendly game, and oh look, you got nice, pretty colors at the end. But you can really get real cutthroat with this one, which is what I think makes this game have staying power.
Yeah, you can really see how this would work as a family game where, if you've got young kids, there's shapes, there's bright colors.
You play it friendly.
You can play it friendly. They can, learn counting. They go, okay, I understand. I put it down and connect. And they play at a very basic level. But there's also game here for a more competitive sort of gamer, where you can really get into the cutthroat. I'm going to deny this to the other player. I'm going to capitalize on this.
And this is...
And it was a close game.
Yeah, I love him or hate him. This is what Reiner Knizia does really well. He takes these really simple systems and makes them into really complex gameplay experiences. And the simple fact that he made it where only your lowest color scores, or the lowest color is what is your score. I mean, just that one simple change, it takes a minute for you to realize, because most people are like, highest score wins, right? But that one simple change makes this game what it is, because if you play the game like the highest total, like what your total score is altogether, it'd be a whole different game.
Oh yeah,
most
sure.
definitely.
And then trying to add that up at the end would be kind of a colossal pain, but you would focus on getting 2 or 3 to the end, and it would completely change the nature of the game.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it would be better for it or not.
I don't think so.
I don't think it would either.
I think the value of this game is that because you can only score your lowest value color, the colors change. The incentive to play different colors changes. So you end up with blocks of the board where we played blue, we played green, we kind of transitioned through all the different colors because it was more valuable. It's more valuable to play off of the other players. You're encouraged to collaborate, so everyone can build up points, and you're trying to decide, okay, do I defect first? All right, we're working together, so we all score a bunch of points, but if I defect first, maybe I can get the most of the green and block it off so nobody else can score green here. And I think if you just summed all of the colors, I don't think that would work as well.
Yeah, because if you just summed all the colors, then, playing to... Your choices become less meaningful because any choice you make is going to further your goal.
Yeah, I think even if the max points in a specific color were capped, you'd still have an interesting game because you'd still be incentivized to score in different colors. But I don't think it would be as interesting. I think this is I think part of the joy of this game is keeping in mind I have a lot of points in green and a lot of points in red, but I have 0 points in purple, and so my score is actually 0.
Yeah.
It was very smart of him to make it to where your lowest score.
Just call it ingenious, you coward.
I know what a pander.
It was an ingenious maneuver on his part.
Yes.
An ingenious game.
But it's what we find with all of his games. They're all very close, tight.
All right, so I wouldn't say all of his games because, he did make Abandoned Ship, which is notoriously a bad game.
Is that the one with the rats?
It's the one with the rats on the sinking ship, and you're rolling the dice to try to get them off. And
I remember that being a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a fun game, though.
It's
either fun or it's close.
It was fun or it wasn't fun. And it was fun the first 3 times we played. And then after that, it got very repetitive, and you saw that the choices weren't really choices after all.
Well, I don't like that. But it also seemed like a very silly game.
Yeah, I mean, for what it was okay. But
this game was a bit like Splendor, where it got out there, and we didn't do a lot of talking.
No, this was a very quiet game.
Well, we were also trying to push the game through. We wanted to...
We did finish it in 30 minutes.
We finished it in 30 minutes. The box says 45. We wanted it to get done before that because...
It's almost 10:30.
We don't want to be recording into the wee hours of the night because we get a little loopy when we go late. And, for a game like this, we really need to be sharp and on our game and just give it the best commentary that we can, because
I feel like you're trying to set me up for something, and I'm
no, not really. I just, I was just going for it.
Okay. I mean, honestly, I think even if we weren't, even if we were not playing quickly, I think this is a silent game.
Yeah,
Or a quiet game, at least. Like Splendor. You're thinking about what you're doing. You have to respond to the other people's moves, but you probably have an idea of what's going on regardless.
Yeah. I think it's just indicative of games that are abstract and don't try to hide it. Like, Splendor, there is a little bit of a theme there. It's very pasted on, but for all intents and purposes, it's an abstract game. This is an abstract game. Like, there's no narrative to this. Like, this isn't a game where you're going to be table talking with each other. Now, you could have a conversation about your day and how work is going, or you can talk about your kids, or, you can have like conversation like that. But this isn't a game where it's like, if you put a red piece there, it's going to create complications for you.
That's what we miss about John tonight.
Yeah.
John is the king of table talk at this game.
Yeah, John can make anything into a narrative.
That's fair. Yeah,
that
this
is
game
true.
does not have an inherent narrative.
Yeah.
And really, I prefer that.
I
would rather have no theme than a weak theme.
Yeah, and not every game needs to have a theme.
Yeah,
But I do appreciate it when John gets into your head.
You did win the game.
I did. That's 2 in a row.
It's that time.
He just scored more points.
He scored one more point than we did, and let's turn that 1 into a 1 to 10 and use that to rate this game, and we'll base it on the Board Game Geek 1 to 10 rating.
Oh, okay.
scale.
That makes it real easy. I'll give it a 7.
Just going right for it.
Just straight
no
up 7.
preamble, no post-amble, just straight 7.
It's a very simple game. A simple 7.
All right. Nothing abstract about that.
That's a shame. You should abstract that out more.
I'll allow that. I'll give that to you.
We've mentioned Reiner Knizia has a ton of games. I think it lasts. Well, I don't even know. I'm going to say a number 500, and it's probably more than that. But he's made many, 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 many amazing games, and I have a feeling we'll run across him again at some point real soon. But of all the games that he's made, this one I think is one of my absolute favorites. I'm trying to think what else kind of is that upper echelon of Reiner Knizia for me, and
I think I would need to see a list of his games. I mean, this is definitely up there.
Winter Circle is one.
Okay, Winter Circle wins.
Winter Circle. All right, so that one does have a narrative,
Just
or at
because
least
the theme is there. And
at
I
least
love
in our group, it has a historical narrative. So
from misread names
to just
great outcomes.
yeah, just
Horses like steps away from winning and just can't do it.
can't do it. Yeah. So Winter Circle, that's a good one. I can't off the top of my head think of one, but
Winter Circle's a
anymore.
little bit more involved.
Yeah.
This is a 30-minute, 40-minute game.
All right, I found over 700 games. I don't know if I've played 700 games in my life.
I have 230 unique games logged for us.
230 unique just for our group.
No, I mean we're probably close to 3.
When everybody's played like 100 games of
350.
Monopoly, that's what John always says.
No, we're talking individual games.
Yeah, unique games.
Oh,
I think even if you count like
Multiple
digital
games?
computer games, I don't think I get to 700.
All right. So Reiner Knizia has we looked it up. It's now 700. It's up to 700 now. And to me, Ingenious is in that upper echelon. And I mean, he's got some really amazing games. We were just talking about Winter Circle. He's also done Through the Desert, which I think is an amazing game. It's kind of go-like, and you got the little pastel camels that some people want to eat.
I like that one.
That's a good one. Modern Art and Loot are really cool.
Loot?
Loot.
Okay.
Both very good. A little deck of card games. And then I forgot about Blue Moon
Oh, yeah.
and Blue Moon City.
Blue Moon City.
Were both Reiner Knizia games. And so just that little list right there kind of give you an idea of the exposure that we've had. Now, I know there are a lot of other amazing games that he's put out that we just haven't gotten to, but all that to say, Ingenious is a top-tier Reiner Knizia game, in my opinion. And with that, this is on the pedestal of sevens.
That's what you want to go with.
That's what I'm going with.
Let's go with what you got to say, Samuel.
What I have to say? I mean, I'm not going to wax quite as eloquent as Steven
I
here.
mean, somebody's got to fill some time.
Sure. I liked this game. I enjoyed playing it. I could see myself purchasing a copy of this game one day because it's fun, easy to put on the table. Right now I don't have the shelf space, but that's okay because you have a copy. This is a game that seems like it would be easy to introduce people to.
Yes.
Because there is no theme for people to wrap their heads around. It's a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you immediately take that layer of having to understand what's going on off.
Yeah, you put something like Wings for the Baron or Root or Mosaic down in front of people, and even if they're capable of understanding the mechanics, having to peel back the theme can intimidate people. At least in my experience. This one, enjoyable. You can put some thought into it.
It's colorful.
I like the pretty colors. For the pretty colors, I'm going to give it a 7.
Awesome.
As Jeremy would say, 7 blue stars.
Oh, Jeremy. Sweet summer child. All right.
Ingenious.
Ingenious.
Ingenious!